Hello and welcome to Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Today is actually going to be short because I don't have time to make it long. I'm always like, oh, today will be a short one, and then it isn't a short one because I get sidetracked, but I actually have to go make some dinner before run club tonight, so I'm going to make this actually short. I hope everyone is well. Happy May. I just went, I guess it was May last week. I just went to Boston this past weekend and it was 45 degrees and kind of rainy and gross for the first couple days I was there, and then on yesterday it was really nice. It was 70 and sunny and really lovely, which was nice because I got to be with my mom on Mother's Day. But it was my friends were all complaining about the bad weather. They were like, oh, it's bad weather when you're here, that's so sad. And I was like, you guys, 45 degrees and overcast / raining is my dream. I have wanted to be cold for the last 3 weeks, and now I'm cold and I'm so happy. I had to bring a jacket. It was amazing. Had a good time at the wedding. I got to see all my friends from high school, not all of them because one of them was away for the weekend, which was sad. But yeah, we had a nice time. And I got some knitting done. I knitted on one of my socks, so that was great. But yeah, I've been combing and washing and stuff, and I'm putting a pause on washing for now because we're in not a drought warning, but they sent Baltimore City sent a notice please use less water because we haven't had a lot of rain lately kind of situation, so I'm using less water, although I think it's gonna likely rain quite a lot this week, so I will resume washing my wool probably tomorrow when it starts to rain a lot, so because I'm just less worried. Yeah, but I was not gonna record it all tonight, but then I remembered that I found a solution to my crispy tips problem. So last week I was talking about how I got this fleece, and even after washing, the tips were just kind of they're not necessarily that crispy, but they're the dirt is just caked on kind of a lot, and it doesn't just come off in the wash. So I was looking for a solution, and I was looking up all these videos about the I don't know, flicking the tips open, or some people call it picking maybe. But so then I was kind of looking up tools that people were using for that, and there were things you could get that are little flicking brushes that are kind of blending, they have tines blending boards, but or the brush or hand cards. I'm not sure if they're exactly the same because on the flicking, picking, whatever it's called, popping locks, on those tools all of the tines are straight up and then they curve out a little bit like this. It's straight, and then it would be if I could that. And so I didn't really know what the difference would be, but I saw some of these tools for sale online, and they're beautiful. They're beautiful wood handles, but they were $40 to $100, and I was well, I don't really want to pay that much money because I can't really just, yeah, that seems absurd for something that I just thought I'm gonna go to Petco and see if they have a cat brush or something that is similar. And I found this, which is a doodle brush, and the tines are exactly like the ones, at least it looks exactly like the ones on the internet, on the fancy expensive brushes. And I thought, okay, this is for combing labradoodles or other doodles, I guess. And the handle's a little shorter, but otherwise I'm pretty sure this is going to do what I need it to do. So I looked up kind of how to do it. And so basically what you do is you separate locks so that you can get all the tips. You can do this one lock at a time. I think people who do oops, that just broke. Yeah, some people just literally if they're just spinning one from the lock, because some people do that, they spin without combing it. Okay, a lot of these are breaking, so I guess the hanging around, drying out, the dirty tips have weakened the locks, which is also interesting. If you know more than me about this, please feel free to chime in the comments, and I will happily read what you said next week, because I'm interested. I'm learning. I don't think that I know more about this than anyone. I probably know more about this than a lot of people, because a lot of people don't process fleece for fun, but I don't pretend to be an expert on this. I am learning by doing. So that's kind of a lot. But I also have my comb set up. I don't know if you can see, there's my comb. But I have that set up too, so I'm gonna be able to put the locks right on the comb. So you take this, and I definitely did sustain a couple of injuries from this last week. It's not very sharp, but like if it hits your knuckle kind of hard because you need to use a little force, it does kind of tend to sometimes injure you a little bit. So already these are a couple of these have broken, like again. So yeah, I don't really know why that is. Maybe they're, again, the dirt just made it like fragile. But if you just kind of like comb it open, you can see, look how fluffy that's getting. And you need to hold them at the base, otherwise they just like pop off. But they don't need to be like fully open. You just have to open them kind of enough to be able to get the comb through it. So these are probably all fine. Yeah, like, so that's, maybe could use one more. Yeah, one more pass. So that's okay. There's still gonna be a little bit of, I mean, the dirt's still gonna be in there, but for the most part, this gets them popped open enough to, see, maybe I should just do it one or two at a time. It gets it popped open enough to place it on the comb. And I know that I'll be able to comb this with a little more success, just with like less debris in the like nestlets. Basically that's what I was finding, was that I was creating the nestlets and there was just a lot of like kind of grossness in them. You know what I mean? Like they were just a little So I'm gonna talk to you while I do this, I guess, because now I'm gonna just try to make one nestlet and then I'll stop. But I've been spinning the white fleece Fiona. I'm gonna call her by her good Christian name. I've adopted this fleece, so I got to name her, naming rights. Yeah, some of these are breaking too. That's okay. I don't want the dirty tips if they're gonna be fragile and broken, so like it's not really upsetting to me that they're breaking off. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just gonna set up the combs so that I've got a little bit of stuff, and I'm trying to like clean these out as I go because I don't want to get all the like residue in there and like have it just cake on and stay there forever, because then the combs won't work as well. The brush, I guess that's what, it's not really a comb, it's a brush. Okay, so yeah, this has been fun. So I washed all of the white fleece, which is good. It's all clean. Despite these dirty tips, it's been washed. And I don't really seem to have any issues with it. Like, I mean, I've brushed a good amount of it and made my nests, and it doesn't seem to like have had that much lanolin in it. I think it was a pretty, like, it was dirty in terms of like there's dirt on the tips of the locks, but it wasn't like a dirty fleece in terms of how much lanolin was on it, which is interesting. Because I feel like the opposite was true for Shrek, the Corriedale fleece that I got, where the tips were like much less caked in dirt, and they were like a little different. They were like a little bit discolored. They were bleached because the sheep herself, I don't know if it was a male or female sheep, but I'm gonna call it a him because his name is Shrek. That sheep, like the tips got bleached because they were in the sun. Sorry, that's not what I was saying. I was saying that the Corriedale is like a grayish brown fleece to start, and the tips are a little bit lighter. But there's a good amount of color variation in the locks as well, which I can tell by spinning it. So I'm spinning this white fleece Fiona, the Rommeldale. I have not said that a single time. This fleece is a Rommeldale. Not that, because I'm actually combing it, so that's a this. This and that. This fleece, I've been spinning on the Ashford Trad Felicity behind me, which you can see right there. And that's dirty. That's just gross. I have like a waste bag that's quite full. It has waste from a lot of my combing experiences, not just these fleeces. And actually, to be honest with you, I got so fed up with that Shetland sheep named Teeny, whose fleece I was processing from Rhinebeck, that I just like stopped combing it and put the rest of it in that bag, because I was like, there's no way. Like, I mean, it'll be used for like pillow stuffing or something. Like, it won't go to waste, but again, it was really expensive. Like, it was more expensive than both Shrek and Fiona combined. It was like over $100. So I think we should, of course, pay for fleece. You know, I think that this is a commodity that's valuable to me, but just I don't think that that was like probably the right going rate for what I got from it. It was not a great product. So I feel bad about that. But I'm glad I supported a farmer. I'm just like, product I got was not great. So I also have to stand up for myself for that. Like, I have consumers' rights, right? I'm terrible at standing up for myself in general. I'm very good at standing up for other people, but I'm not very good at advocating for myself. So doing better. I'm trying to do better, but it's hard. See, these are still dirty. Like, you can see there's like the fleece, basically the yarn's not going to be pure white. That's okay. I'm going to dye it anyway, probably. I have been spinning this as white fiber nestlets. I haven't dyed any of the nestlets themselves, but this, I think I said this last week, I would probably be willing to dye the white nestlets because the fleece is a lot downier than the gray Corriedale Shrek. So the nestlets will likely stay better like kind of stick together in a dye pot. Also, I feel like all the lanolin has kind of come out. Like, none of it feels greasy to me. Whereas Shrek, I was getting to this earlier and I kind of got sidetracked, which is common for me. Shrek is, it's harder to get the lanolin out. I'm not sure if it's because I have like more heavily switched to Dawn dish soap, but I think that's probably not the only reason. Like, there's probably just, it's just like a lot more lanolin rich fleece. Maybe downy fleeces because they're denser. This is just me talking completely off the cuff because I don't know what I'm talking about. Remember, I'm not a farmer and I don't know scientific stuff about sheep. It does seem like perhaps the downier fleece, it's harder for the lanolin to like permeate into it because it's like kind of denser, maybe. Am I onto something? If you know, you can correct me or tell me that I'm right. That just seems like how physics works to me. But again, haven't taken a physics class since my last year of high school. So, kind of talking without knowing what I'm saying here. So this is, yeah, see, there you go. There's a little bit of, sorry for the gore, but it's pretty easy to just maul yourself a little bit with the doodle brush. Also, I have this sitting here. This is a tiny vacuum. I don't know who makes it. My dad got it for me for Christmas. It's like a made in China Amazon purchase, and it's chargeable. It's a wireless like dust buster. This has been really good for cleaning up basically just bits and bobs of like dirt from the fleece that are just kind of on the floor and stuff. So that's fun. So yeah, I've been combing. I watched a bunch of Shrek last week and I've been combing that because I find it easier to comb. I think I said this last week. I find it easier to comb that, although I have found that I think it's probably because I'm not using the unicorn scour as much. I probably should get more of that, even though it smells kind of bad, because I think that's going to get the lanolin out of the fleece better than the Dawn dish soap. And that's okay. You learn. It's important to learn the correct way to clean each fleece. Like, the fleece is going to talk to you. The fleece is going to tell you how to treat it if you listen. You have to. This is what I'm learning. Like, sounds so silly. Like, the fleece, let the fleece talk to you, but it does. You learn to trust what basically the fleece's qualities. You learn to read the qualities of every fleece and how to treat it appropriately to get the product that you want from it. And I feel like I've been lucky to have a lot of good and bad experiences in the past year, I guess, ish, learning how to comb fleece, because bad experiences teach you a lot. So I say to my students this all the time: you either win or you learn. As millennials like to say, people in my generation, F around and find out. If you F around, you're gonna find out. So that means that, like, if you do something that you've never done before and you just kind of like don't know what you're doing, sometimes you might succeed wildly on the first try. Sometimes you will fail wildly on the first try. More likely that something will happen in between that. But like, it's basically take a chance, you might get lucky. It's kind of like betting on yourself. So those who F around are destined to find out. That's what people joke about who are my age. So that's kind of the approach I'm taking to this. And I'm very much like, Like if something is high stakes, I wouldn't do that. But like something that I'm curious about, yeah, that's what I do. That's just being curious to me. Like I'm gonna mess around. Sometimes I'm gonna buy a fleece for $100 that's like kind of crappy, which is what I did last year, and I'm gonna like learn from that experience. And then sometimes you're gonna get a great fleece, like Archie. Archie was awesome. Sorry, I had to pause so that I could locate my Diz. But yeah, so it's been fun. And I've been, yeah, so the lanolin Shrek experience has been interesting. Sometimes not impossible to spin fleece with lanolin in it. Lots of people spin wool directly in the grease without even combing it really, or they wash it just a little bit. But yeah, I've been, some of the nestlets are like really clean and there's no lanolin, and some of them are pretty sticky because lanolin is kind of sticky. So but yeah, I've been spinning it on my e-spinner. Whereas, like I said, I've been spinning Fiona on my Ashford Trad. Not a whole lot of that. I kind of got more into the Corriedale because it was more fun. But I'm just having a good time. Having a good time spinning these monsters. And yeah, Fiona's definitely got some neps still. But again, the tips are crispy. There's some stuff in there. That's okay. Oh, she didn't break. Good job, Fiona. It was getting thinned out in that section. If you've ever dizzed fleece off of combs, you know what I mean. Like sometimes you get like a lot through the diz, and sometimes you just get a little if like it's getting bare in one section across the comb. And so sometimes it gets so bare that it breaks and you have to start again. But this one has stayed in one continuous piece. This must be like what it feels like to peel an orange in one go. That's sometimes how I feel. I've never peeled an orange in one go, but my college roommate, she really didn't like peeling oranges. She like it was like a sensory experience that she really hated, and she actually had a tool that was she carried around everywhere with her in her purse to help her peel oranges without having to like stick her fingers under the skin of the orange. She didn't like that. Which I found really interesting. And it was like, it was kind of sharp on one, it was plastic, so it wasn't gonna like cut anything in her bag, but it was like kind of sharp on one end, so you could like pierce the skin of the orange, and you could like a peeler, like you could, like a knife, basically, you could just, and you were supposed to make like sectioned cuts, like all the way down the orange, and then the other side was kind of like more like curved like a spoon, and it was tiny but like really thin, but you could stick it under the skin and like kind of peel the skin away from the orange with it. And I haven't thought about that in a long time, but yeah, Lexi had one of those and it was cool. So yeah, this is what the Shrek spin currently looks like. I can't remember if I had started spinning this last week at this point or if I hadn't, but this bobbin is just filling up. I'm not sure. I initially thought I would make a 3-ply out of this, but it's a little thicker. I'm trying to intentionally spin a little thicker, and it's a little thicker. So I think I could probably make a DK weight if I did a 2-ply. So I may just do that, but regardless, I'm going to fill up the first bobbin and then see where we're at. Oh, that's why this bumps around a little bit, because it's missing a little pad on the bottom. Anyway, that was just me talking to myself. But if you want to see up close, you can see there's a lot of variation. And I definitely realized that I now did show this last week because somebody said in the comments it would make a really nice marled yarn, and it totally would. This would be really good with like a white or a lighter brown. And I'll have a lot of this, so maybe I'll try that with one of the skeins. That'd be cool. So I do want to dye this. I want to dye it like a dark jewel tone color, like purple or magenta or blue or something, maybe teal. No, actually, I think I'm going to dye Fiona teal. This will be a different color, but I want to see like maybe even a dark blue, because I think that will look really cool. It'll look kind of like when I dye yarn on a yak base, because the yak base is a similar color to this, like it's like a grayish brown. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out, but I have to I'll probably make like 2 enormous skeins. Like I'll fill the 8-ounce bobbins, ply them, and then do it again, because that'll be like definitely enough to make a whole sweater or something. And then I'll dye the 2, that'll be probably 4 or 5 or 6 giant skeins. I'll dye them all together in the same pot so that they become the same color, and I don't have to try and replicate the color by weighing dye. So yeah, otherwise I applied a skein of this orangey red yellowy fiber from Feederbrook. I haven't washed the skein yet, but it's fun. I spun one bobbin kind of bigger, and then I spun like half of another bobbin, and then I applied that, so the one bobbin still has a bunch of singles still on it. So I am gonna spin another bobbin up of the fiber and then have another skein or two. I don't know how much more, but I just think this is really joyful. I said this last time, but somebody commented that I should make a ghost horses with one of those other things, and I didn't have enough, but I wanted to thought about making ghost horses with this because I'll have a lot. So that'll be fun. Toss that on the ground. Here are what my Shrek nestlets look like. I have a bunch of them just kind of sitting right here on the ground, and I have more fiber, but yeah, that second batch over there, I think there might still be too much lanolin in it. I think it might have to be washed one more time, which is annoying. And I've got this pretty nice sized sack of white nestlets from Fiona. So that's it looks like a giant bag of roving. It's a giant bag of nestlets. It's not roving, it's technically combed top because I've combed it. But I look forward to spinning some of this. This is probably like at least a whole skein or two that I've already combed. It does make me happy to see like how much, how much single a nestlet will get you. It's more than I always think it will be. You do get a lot of yarn out of wool, out of these fleeces, which is fun. And I've been working on these socks. So first one I finished just before I left, like on Thursday, I think I finished this one. These are the Flourish socks by Helen Stewart from the Handmade Sock Society Season 6, if you're wondering. Super fun. I love this little pattern. It's so charming and it's easy to memorize. And this one's almost done too, actually. I have like 3 more repeats left on the foot, and then I will be doing the toe. I messed up a little bit on this Eye of Partridge heel when I did, you can see it. If I show it to you up close, it's really obvious. I didn't alternate that middle one. I did 3 exactly the same, but it won't matter. It will be on someone's foot, maybe my foot. So I'll have some leftovers from this fun hand-dyed 80/20 skein. And I'm thinking of casting on another Helen Stewart sock just because I love them so much, because the month isn't even halfway through. And I was like a little worried that I wouldn't finish the socks before the end of the month so that I couldn't cast on the next ones. But then I remembered that you have to make 2 socks. And I was like, well, I probably can finish 1 sock. And if I can't finish, and if I finish 1 sock and I'm not sure if I'll make it to the second one, then I'll just stop and I'll wait and I'll knit the pair of socks in June, and then I'll come back and I'll knit the second sock to whatever I do knit. But I haven't decided which yarn to use or what pattern to do at all, so that's probably a conundrum for tomorrow when I finish that purple sock. But yeah, that's kind of all that's been going on. Also, my mom got me this book, Orbital, that she says is really good, and I'm excited to read it. So if you've read it, won the Man Booker Prize last year. And I'm really excited to read this. I started reading in the airport last night, but I didn't read very much of it because, yeah, I didn't want to read on the plane. My flight got back pretty late. Not late, like for me late is 9:30, and the plane landed at like 9:15, and Nitin also was flying in from Indianapolis from another wedding, and so he had driven to the airport and like parked in the long-term parking so that he could drive us both home, which was very smart of him and courteous. But so we had to like get our bags. He checked the bag, and then we took like, there's like a shuttle that takes you to there, and then we had to drive home from there. So we didn't get home until like, I don't know, 10:30, but that was okay. It was not too bad. I didn't go for a run this morning because I'm tapering, and I'm going for a run at Run Club tonight, but I have to make some dinner first. Decided to make some green curry with potatoes. It's supposed to be a vegetarian curry, but I think I'm gonna defrosted chicken breast and use that because there's like no protein. They were like, you can use a can of chickpeas, and I was like, that's a good idea, but we don't have any chickpeas because it's on the Costco list. So I'm gonna go make some curry so that I can eat before I go in an hour to run club. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. This has been Tiny Destiny with Emma. Bye.